YouTube, and welcome to another video about my old sled. Today's video we're going to talk about a really common problem, and that's getting a snowmobile stuck. And more importantly, we're going to talk about a few techniques to get it unstuck. So yeah, it's going to happen to you. If you ride a sled long enough, eventually you're going to get it stuck. And you know, if you're a long way out on the trail and that happens to you, it might actually freak you out a little bit. You're not used to thinking of a snowmobile as getting stuck in the snow, right? I mean, I didn't. I typically thought of a snowmobile as something to go through the snow, but they actually do get stuck. And we'll talk about some of the things that'll make it more likely you're going to get stuck, and we'll talk about a couple techniques to get you unstuck.
So this video isn't intended for the more experienced rider that might be up on the side of a mountain in 4 feet of powder, because there's all kinds of techniques for that. You may end up actually rolling your snowmobile over to get it unstuck, but it's for, you know, riders like me that you're fairly new to snowmobiling and you've been out on a trail. Maybe you've gone off the side of the trail a little bit and you've ended up getting stuck. So hopefully you find this useful. So there's a couple of ways that you're going to get your snowmobile stuck. The first is if you slow down or stop and you're in really deep powder. The first time I got my snowmobile stuck, I was going up a bit of a hill, and it was on a little bit of an incline, so the sled was starting to tilt over. And as a new rider, it was my first time out, so I stopped the snowmobile. So if you're in deep powder and you're not moving forward, you got to remember the skis and the belly pan on this are meant to push up onto the snow like a toboggan. So if you got some momentum going forward, you're riding up on the snow. But sometimes if you stop, you'll sink down and that'll get you stuck. The next thing that's a big culprit for getting you stuck is reverse. So reverse is a great thing to have on a snowmobile. You know, these machines are fairly heavy. You know, you don't always feel like lugging them around. It's nice to be able to back up. But the one thing you need to remember is that reverse is going to work well on a hard packed surface, on a groomed trail, things like that. But what'll happen if you're in deep snow, and again, I did the same thing, that example that I gave you before. I was on a hill, I got the snowmobile stuck, I was new to snowmobiling, I wasn't sure what to do. I put it in reverse, and what happens is, your skis again are meant to go forward up on the snow. But when you're in deep powder, you hit reverse, that track is going to tend to dig down to the ground, and it'll pull those skis down in too, because the skis don't work as efficiently in reverse. So be really, really careful in using reverse to try and back out if you're stuck. One thing you want to do is clear as much snow as you can around the front of the machine. So do get out with your hands. If you have a collapsible shovel with you, or even stomp it down is a good idea. The other thing you can try is to rock the sled back and forth a little bit. What you might find is it'll help the side of the track dig in, and it'll take a little bit of the weight off of one of the skis as well. You might get it wiggle.
All right, guys. So once the front end of the machine is bogged down in the powder and the track is starting to spin, you're not going to power it out, you know, just by giving it more throttle. So just take your time, take stock, clear the snow away from the machine. Repositioning the machine will quite often help you get unstuck. So, you know, carefully moving the track, because you got to remember, when you were giving it throttle, you cleared all the snow out from underneath. There's nothing for you to grip to now, and you may have smoothed it right down. So sometimes carefully repositioning the back of the machine will help you.
Now be really careful when you come around if you're going to lift the back of the snowmobile, because you're used to it weighing a certain amount, but once it gets stuck in the snow and the snow gets packed in around that track, I fell into that trap the first time I got stuck. I got off the sled, I came around, I bent over and went to pick the sled up, and I felt something pop, and it wasn't something on the sled. So again, be really careful when you're lifting. Keep your back straight, use your legs, right? Use good body mechanics when you're lifting the back of the snowmobile, and expect it that it might be stuck.
All right, so once you've got the snow cleared away from the machine and you've got the machine repositioned a little bit and you're ready to start moving it, the easiest way is if you have another rider to help you. And then the way you do that is you position that rider off to the side of the snowmobile. And you want to be careful, because when the snowmobile moves, obviously you don't want to run your buddy over, but position the second rider in front and to the side of the snowmobile. Get ready to give it a little bit of throttle, and the second person pulls a little bit on the loop on the ski while you gently apply throttle, and then you should be able to pull you out. That's one of the easiest ways to do it.
The other thing that's not a bad idea to carry with you is a device like this. This one's called an easy out pull-out strap. There's another one called snow bungee, but basically what they're meant to do is give you a bit more leverage for pulling. So you can hook these onto the sled, and instead of being bent over close to the snowmobile, you can get back and use your body weight a little bit more. Snow bungee is a spring-loaded one, so you've got that force as well. But this one is small, it's easy to bring with you, easy to stick in a bag or even in your pocket. So it's got a fairly wide open hook. You hook that onto the loop, you hook it to the inside so it'll fall away when the sled moves forward. You can use this if you're by yourself or if you've got another rider helping you. And basically, just lean back and pull.
Alright guys, so getting stuck's not the end of the world. It's fairly common. I actually went out close to home a couple of times and deliberately got it stuck just to play around with getting it unstuck. But the important thing is having some idea of what to do when you're out, especially on your own a long way from home, because you're exposed to the elements. I mean, it's a fairly minor problem in the big scheme, but if you can't get unstuck, it can turn nasty. And on the note of safety, just pointing out that the OFSC and the OPP just announced Provincial Snowmobile Safety Week. I think it's January 16th to January 24th. I'll put a link to that in the description below this video for more information on that, but it's important to be safe out there. Alright guys, I hope you found that video useful, or at least I hope you do the next time you get stuck on the trail. Anyway, if you did, go ahead and mash that like button or hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.